probably, frequently are using just one library or one framework, and during your career, you are getting very professional in one technology. Like for example, React, right? And it just becomes to this state of mind. If we need to develop something new, we are probably just picking React because we are proficient in it and we know how it works, the API, what it will bring us. But it has some consequences, and really, I love React and all of that. But if we're talking about consequences, it probably would be, too much flexibility and sometimes lack of or too many conventions provided to us by React itself and third-party libraries and third-party frameworks. There are problems. React is getting better with SEO handling, but still, there are some corner cases for that. Performance issues with Virtual DOM, because if you have basically more components on stage, on the page, it getting slower. It's the bundle size, and we will be talking about the performance bundle size in a little bit in my talk, and in the next talk Hadar will be talking about. And again, third-party all the ways. So most probably if you are using React, you're not just using React, you're using something else, like Axios for fetching, Redux for state management. You can live without it, but probably we will come to the point where you need that. And high pace of changes, it's probably more related to React version till 16, because from 16 till 18, it's not much changes. It's more under hood, but still, I remember the time where you needed to come up to speed and migrate some of it, because there were kind of some of the breaking changes, some of the changes with behavior. So yeah, definitely all of these consequences are handled in what we call meta frameworks like Next.js or Remix, and they are covered very good in there. So maybe if you start with that would be cool and you will be, covered. But have you ever considered not to use React at all? And this is what I want to explore in basically a few examples in this talk. So starting with Netflix case study. So in 2018, there is a Medium article by Eddie Osmani, who is an engineer in Google Chrome performance team. He described a case study by UI engineers in Netflix where in non-logged in environments, like homepage, sign-in, pricing, registration, they got rid of React at all. And they decided to rewrite their code from React to Vanilla.js. And basically, it led them to this. So before they had that much kilobytes and that much kilobytes of JavaScript and JSON before, and they reduced that amount dramatically, you see on the graph. Then they are stating that it causing over 50% reduction in Netflix time to interactivity, basically 50% increase in performance. Even though React's initial footprint was just 45 kilobytes, removing React and several third-party libraries and some code around it led to removing in total over 200 kilobytes in code in bundle size, and also handling JavaScript with handling JSON that should be handled with JavaScript. And you can read more about that if you scan the QR code, or I will be sharing slides going forward. If we're talking about more, the next example is not really directly user-oriented. However, it impacts user performance dramatically and user experience. So I'll start with talking about Virtual DOM, and all of you know that it's probably the first question on an interview. What's what nice about React? It's Virtual DOM, right? Because of the Virtual DOM, it's fast. And if we're talking about reconciliation in Virtual DOM, it looks kind of like this. So you have a state, Virtual DOM tree now, and we need to provide updates to the UI with new Virtual DOM. So basically, it goes like deep first search, and just comparing each node. If it's been updated, then we are updating it, and for each child, we are removing the node from the DOM. And if it's been updated, we are updating the value, and that's it. And what's the problem? The problem is that it just takes a lot of time to find the difference if you have a lot of nodes on your page. And yeah, if you have quite a small application, you can use that. It would be probably performant at all. But if you have a lot of nodes in your virtual DOM tree, it would be just slow. So there are Million.js, which is not really popular framework, and I think also Svelte using something like that. They introducing something called dirty checking or block virtual DOM. So they're using something called agent mapping. Basically, it's a flat hash map where they have references for each node and its value, and they could just in ON performance operation just go through all nodes and check if they are if they change their value. And basically, it looks like this, right? So you have only two operations. Million.js itself says that it's 3 times performant than React and 1.5 more performant than Preact. And the whole graph is comparing to vanilla.js. And again, if you want to learn more about it, you can scan the QR code on the slide. But despite its potential, it's not a silver bullet, and probably it would work only for some particular cases if you need that performance. Because most likely, as with Preact signals, you would find it's not working for third-party libraries, some UI components delivered by Bootstrap for us, or Undesign, I don't know. And sometimes you may find it falling in just regular cases. And talking about Wix, because we are from Wix Engineering, we have a lot of in-house solution, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I can give a few examples, and we will be talking more about Wix in details in our other talks from guys. But also we can talk about something we did as a product for our developers, and developers are our users in this case. It's Yoshi, which is kind of a Bootstrap application, could be called as a framework. Similar to what you may find from Next.js or Create React app, but it gives you an ability to use most of internal Wix features out of the box. So in other companies, in that state of mind, you may find yourself just using Create React app and then configuring everything over and over again. In Wix, we decided that for you and making sure you are not touching Webpack configuration at all. So we are helping you to become faster in your development experience. And also, in the other example, we will be talking about microfrontends in one of the talks today. We had a case where we needed to provide, to update one of our microfrontends, in particular header microfrontend. And it was written in plain JavaScript. It's quite a small one, but we still had JavaScript logic in it for some business intelligence events, some experiments, and so on. And we had several things in mind, like we needed to make sure the bundle size is small. There's a small time to interactivity KPI. And we needed to make sure it's kind of still maintainable and testable. And we decided to go with Svelte, even though most of our technology is written in plain JavaScript or React. In that case, it's small amount in kilobytes, but in percentage is huge, and probably for bigger microfrontends, it would be even higher amount. But in comparison from vanilla 36 kilobytes, we went to Svelte, which is 25 kilobytes. But if we would use React, which is kind of our common solution, common go-to library at Wix, we would have twice bigger bundle. So yeah, this is the things we considered as it talks. And this is the place for, I think, conclusion of my talk, conclusion time. I'm not saying that you need to get rid of React. You just need to be conscious about your decisions and collect all of the requirements and use cases. Think about user experience and how does it impact performance, time to interact, and basically onboarding your client to become maybe paid client if this is the case. So yeah, we will be talking about all of this in details in our following talks today. And again, thanks for joining. You can, if you want, find more information about myself, my podcast and stuff, scanning these QR codes. And again, I will be sending all the presentations afterwards. And thank you. And I will be giving the microphone to the next speaker. Thanks.